You know, uncertainty has a way of freezing people in place, but it doesn't have to. What if the moments that feel the most out of control are actually the best times to start building something you've been putting off? Let's have ourselves a pocket sized pep talk, and I'll show you why uncertain times aren't for worrying, they're for building your shelves.
A Pocket Sized Pep Talk, the podcast that can help energize your business and your life with a quick, inspiring message. Now, here's your host, Rob Jollis.
It's not just uncertainty, it's a sea of many synonyms: the unpredictability, unreliability, precariousness, reservation, doubt. Well, you get the point. Uncertainty is like dental pain. The fear of the pain that may come is always worse than the pain itself. Nobody likes uncertainty. Yet, given uncertain times, I'd like to tell you how my dad used to successfully cope with times like these. My dad was a salesman. He had some good months and he had some bad months. And from time to time, he had some uncertain months. These were the months when he had no clients to see and wasn't really sure what was happening with his career. These were also the times when most would become depressed and be overwhelmed by worry. But not Lee Jollis. He was not a worrier. He was a shelf builder. From as early as I can remember, I recall coming home from elementary school and occasionally seeing my dad roaming around the house as if he was on a mission. With his homemade wooden toolbox in hand, he was off to build some shelves. I never asked why he wasn't at work. I just happily carried on with my duties as a kid, as he happily carried on his duties as well, a shelf builder. This would often last a week or two, and then he'd be off again to carry on his normal duties of going to his office and resuming his obligations as a salesman. As I got older, I noticed this pattern would repeat itself. He built shelves in the garage. He built shelves in the bedrooms. He built shelves in the kitchen. He built shelves in the laundry room. And when he could no longer find locations to build shelves in his own house, he'd load up his car with his trusty wooden toolbox and he'd build shelves in my siblings' houses. One time, I finally got the courage to ask him why he would build shelves at such unusual times. And he told me this: in life, there are always uncertainties. For me, it's the uncertainties of selling and bringing home a paycheck to take care of my family. Sometimes, no matter how hard I try, I just don't have customers to see. It's not a lack of effort. It's working hard and trying as hard as I can. But rather than beat myself up at the office, I come home. Moments like these come and go. They always do. I like to think about what I'll look back and remember about these tough times once they're over. Do you want to remember that you used these uncertain times to sit and fret and worry about what you could not control to begin with? Or do you want to look back and remember that you used these unusual times to spend precious time with your family or accomplish a goal that you've been wanting to do but never had the time to do? For me, that's shelf building time. We can always use more shelves. So for some who are listening and to this podcast, might be staring into a sea of unknowns, rather than wringing your hands, walking in fear, misusing your imagination, and worrying, you can focus on a few other things, more productive things. You can focus on being responsible regarding your health. You can focus on assuming leadership roles within your family, communities, and businesses. However, we can also use these pauses in our lives to seek out other opportunities and accomplish goals we've been putting off. Take a moment and ask yourself, what is it I've always wanted to do, but never had time to do it? For some, like Lee Jollis, that might mean building some shelves. For others, that might mean writing a short story, painting a room, dusting off an old instrument, cleaning out a basement, learning a language, attending an endless list of online training, and so much more. I can't look into the future and tell you when your pain or challenges will be over or when you'll get back to your life. No one can. What I can say with some level of certainty is that at some point, in the not too distant future, life is going to return to normal. How will you look back on this moment in time? I say you follow the lead of Lee Jollis. Grab your own version of a wooden toolbox. Get started building something you've been putting off for far too long. If you're able to do this, perhaps you'll be able to look back at this period of time a little wiser, a little more grateful, and with a couple of significant accomplishments to be proud of.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, please rate and recommend it on iTunes, Outcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get more information on this show and Rob at jollis.com.